Long before cities, before highways cut through forests, before electricity lit the night, there were only trees. Endless forests stretching across the northern lands of what is now the United States, especially around the Great Lakes. Winters there were merciless. Snow buried the earth, rivers froze solid, animals vanished, and hunger became a living thing. The tribes who lived in those lands respected the forest. They respected balance. They respected survival. But they feared one thing above all, the Wendigo. The elders told the story in low voices around winter fires. They said the Wendigo was not born. It was made. It begins with hunger, not normal hunger, the kind that twists the mind, the kind that makes a person desperate. When winter lasts too long, when food runs out, when the cold cracks the bones, a person might begin to think unthinkable thoughts. And if that person gives in, if they choose greed over honor, if they consume human flesh, or allow their heart to freeze with selfishness, something ancient awakens. A spirit of the north wind, a spirit of endless starvation. And that spirit takes them. The transformation is slow. First, the person grows thin, unnaturally thin. No matter how much they eat, they feel empty. Their lips crack. Their eyes sink deep into their skull. They begin avoiding the tribe. They wander at night. Then they disappear into the forest. Days later, strange sounds echo between the trees. Footsteps too heavy to be human, breathing too deep, a voice calling names in perfect imitation. Hunters who follow those sounds do not return, because the Wendigo is no longer human. It is said to be taller than any man, its body stretched and skeletal, as if starvation itself shaped it. Its skin pulled tight over bone, gray and rotting. Some tribes describe it with antlers like a deer. Others say its head is skull-like and bare. Its heart is frozen solid ice. Its smell reaches you before it does. Death. Rot. Winter. And its hunger never ends. The cruelest part, the more it eats, the bigger it grows. But it is never satisfied. It can consume an entire village and still feel empty. Because the Wendigo does not hunger for food. It hungers for humanity. There are darker versions of the story. Some say the Wendigo can possess a person without them committing cannibalism. If someone becomes too greedy, if someone hoards food while others starve, if someone lets selfishness replace compassion, the spirit whispers to them. In dreams, in cold winds, in the cracking of ice on frozen lakes. And slowly, they change. The myth was not only a warning about monsters in the woods. It was a warning about the monster inside people. One legend tells of a hunter named Ishki. He was strong, brave, respected. One winter, food grew scarce. Ishki went hunting alone and became lost in a blizzard. For days, he wandered, starving, freezing. He found no animals, no shelter, no hope. Then he found something worse, another lost traveler. Already dead from the cold, Ishki faced a choice. Survive or keep his honor. The storm held around him, and hunger won. When he returned to his village days later, he was alive. But something was wrong. His eyes looked distant. He barely spoke. He refused to sit near the fire. At night, villagers heard him whispering to himself. Then the livestock disappeared. Then a hunter vanished. Tracks in the snow told the story. They were too large, too deep, too unnatural, and they led into the forest where Ishki had gone. The tribe's shaman knew. He gathered the bravest warriors. They followed the tracks for miles, through frozen rivers, through broken trees, through silence so thick it swallowed sound, until they found it. Standing between the trees, too tall, too thin, eyes glowing like dying embers, Ishki was gone. The Wendigo remained. The battle was brutal. Arrows pierced its flesh, but froze instantly. It moved faster than something that size should. It screened cracked branches from trees. In the end, the shaman knew normal weapons would not work. Because ice cannot be killed with cold, they built a fire, a massive one, and lured it toward the flames. The Wendigo fought, shrieking, thrashing. But when fire touched its frozen heart, it melted, and from its chest spilled a chunk of black ice. Inside that ice was a faint human shape, a Shti, frozen forever. The elders say the Wendigo still roams, not just in forests, but in cities, in boardrooms, in places where greed grows unchecked. Because the Wendigo is more than a creature. It is what happens when hunger becomes obsession, when survival becomes selfishness, when a person chooses themselves over everyone else. In the deep woods of the northern United States, when winter winds howl, some say you can still hear it, calling your name in a familiar voice, perfectly mimicked, trying to lure you away from the warmth of others. And if you follow, you may never return, because the forest is vast, winter is patient, and the Wendigo is always hungry.